All right, in this movie, we're going to build this big, ambitious background effect, and we're ultimately going to create it as a combination of 4 graphic styles. And so I'm going to start things off by grabbing the zigzag and roughen effects that are assigned to our line, and I'm going to drop down to the little page icon at the bottom of the panel, and I'll click on it in order to get rid of them. And that's because we're going to build a new base colorful style here. And so I'll go ahead and click on a stroke. I'm going to take its line weight up to 3 points. I'm going to click on the word stroke and change its corner to round join. And that way, when it gets roughed up, there will be some rounding going on. And I'll click on its color swatch and set it to this light shade of orange, the one that begins R equals 251. All right, now I'll create a new stroke by clicking on the Add New Stroke icon in the bottom left corner of the Appearance panel. And I'll go ahead and click on this new stroke, and I'll change its line weight to 6 point, and I'll change the color to black. All right, now once again, drop down to that icon, or you can press that keyboard shortcut of Control-Alt/ or Command-Option/ on the Mac. Now click on the bottom stroke and take its line weight up to 10 points, and click on the color swatch icon and change it to this light shade of pink, which begins R equals 237. All right, now, again, we want to create a new stroke, so either click on the icon or press Control-Alt/ or Command-Option/ on the Mac. We'll change this line weight to 18 points. This is all trial and error stuff, by the way. I'll click on its color swatch and change it to black. And then I'll press Control-Alt/ or Command-Option/ again. Change the color this time around to this medium violet, which begins R equals 102. And I'll change the line weight to just 20 points. And I'll go ahead and select both of these strokes right here, the 10-point and the 18-point strokes, and I'll create copies of them by clicking on a little page icon in the bottom right corner of the panel. And I'll select these two guys, click on one, shift-click on the other, drag them below the purple swatch, and then just change the line weight of the black swatch to 40 points thick, so we're filling in any gaps, and change the line weight for the pink swatch to 24 points. In order to produce this effect there. And you may not see that pink stroke very much, but we're going to bring it out when we assign zigzag and roughen in the future. All right, let's go ahead and save the style by Alt or Option clicking on the little page icon at the bottom of the Graphic Styles panel. And I'll call this guy Colorful Build, let's say, and click OK. All right, now notice these kind of white veins that are running through the pattern. Let's go ahead and create them as an independent style. And so I'll go ahead and grab that top stroke and I'll set it to just 1 point thick, and then I'll change its color to black. And now I'm going to select the stroke below it and shift click on the bottom stroke and click on the little trash icon to get rid of them. So we have just this one little stroke and nothing more. Now what I'd like to be able to do is click on this stroke and then press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and click on the twist only style in order to add it to the stroke. But because it was set up as being applied to the path in the first place, that's where it lands. And so what I'm going to do is grab that twist effect and drag it and drop it onto the stroke in order to twist the stroke and not the entire path. Initially, it's not going to look any different, but then what I want you to do is select the stroke and click on a little page icon in order to create a copy of it. And then with whichever one twirled open, click on the word twist right there and change its angle to -100 degrees and turn on the preview checkbox, and you'll see everything twist in the opposite direction. At which point, click OK to accept that effect. Now what we need to do is get rid of the transform effect, because if we combine this guy with the one that's transformed, then we're going to transform the transformations, which we don't want to do. So go ahead and select the transform effect and click on the trash can icon in the bottom right corner of the Appearance panel to get rid of it. And now we want these guys to be white. So change each one of the strokes to the color white like so. And that's going to make everything disappear, but that doesn't really matter. We have the effect we're looking for. So now go ahead and Alt or Option click on a little page icon, create a new style, and let's call this guy Double Twist, let's say, and then click OK. All right, now let's combine everything together to wonderful effect. And so first I'm going to expand the Graphic Styles panel a little bit, and I'll start by clicking on Colorful Build. That will be the first style that we apply. The second style is going to be zigzag only. And so what I want you to do is press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and click on zigzag only in order to add it to the effect. All right, now go ahead and move over to Roughen Only and press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and click on it in order to add it to the effect, which will produce this wondrous assemblage right here. And just to make sure that we're safe, I'm going to save this as a style by Alt or Option clicking on the page icon. And I'll call this one Crazy Lines, let's say, and then click OK. And now I just want you to notice something. Currently, each line is being roughed up differently than its neighbor, but we're roughing up each group of strokes to the same extent. If you want all the strokes to go all over the place, grab Roughen and then drag it down to the bottom of the list like so. And what that's going to do is roughen up each and every stroke independently in order to produce this crazy effect right here. And I'm going to save this out by Alt or Option clicking on a little page icon and calling this one, let's say, Random Blast, and then I'll click OK. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and move Roughen back where it was because I actually want to roughen all the strokes to the same extent. But don't move it above Zigzag. Don't put it there. Don't drop it there. Drop it below Zigzag right there at that location. That's going to end up producing the effect you see on screen. And then finally, I want you to press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and click on the double twist effect in order to add it to the collection. Now, those two strokes are going to come in at the bottom. So go ahead and click one and shift click on the other and drag them to the top of the stroke stack in order to produce this final effect here. And at this point, I decided things were a little too busy for my taste, so I clicked on the word transform in order to bring up the transform effect panel, and I changed the angle to 4 degrees, which means this time we only need 45 lines in all, which means 45 minus 1, 44 copies, at which point I'll just go ahead and click OK to accept that change and achieve this final effect here. And I love it so much, obviously, that I'm going to save it out by Alt or Option clicking on that little page icon, and I'm going to call this Final Multi-Line Effect, and then I'll click OK. And finally, I'll press Control-Shift-A or Command-Shift-A on the Mac in order to deselect my artwork. And that's how you proudly thump your chest and proclaim yourself master of the graphic style by ultimately combining 4 of them here inside Illustrator.